Is on.
All right, so back to this rap bastard that we call Taharka Bay. Even though I didn't want my channel to be like this, I feel like it's very necessary to expose those who are coons in our community, those who go against the grain, those who are agents, those who are full of propaganda and only work against the common goals and the common sentiments and the common cause of our people. Oh, let me change this real quick. This is really what I wanted you to see. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this dude the Rat King from now on. So if you see this, what I want you to do is go to Morris World TV on all of his live streams, all of his posts, and just give him the business. Now, likely he's going to erase them, but make him busy having to do that. So I really wanted to do this video a few days ago, but when I was actually about to go live with it, I noticed that OC the Great was already doing an interview with Queen Crystal Muhammad, and they was covering all bases. So I really just wanted to peep that. Then I did a little something with DSP of Onslaught Media 2 and Queen Rabbit of Rabbit Got the Gun TV. She keeps changing the name of her channel, so because she drops a lot of receipts. So there's already been receipts. There's already multiple people who understand what's going on. The problem is we have smaller channels that don't get as much traction. So we need to change that. So let me just do it like this. I'm gonna try to make this kind of brief, but there's a lot to go over, and I want y'all to really understand what's going on, what I'm speaking about, what others have been bringing to the table, so we can combat the enemy that we have operating within the capacity of social media, bringing propaganda in order to destroy movements and individuals who are actually putting in work while he does nothing. So let's start it off with this right here. Make sure we're good with the volume and everything real quick. That's not what I wanted to show you. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you. So this is a post from a brother by the name of AJ. And this is a post on Facebook. And I'm just gonna get to this part right here. And it says, clearly, this is speaking of Taharka Bay. You scammed the Moorish community out of thousands of dollars to build a Moorish village, when instead sold the building you purchased for $20,000 total profit and pocketed the cash. In 2016, check this out, you get caught up in another felony, second-degree assault, conveniently the same week Morris World TV was created, and instead of going to prison for 10 years, it gets converted into a misdemeanor with a suspended sentence a few months later. Now, the reason why that's important is because this is often how agents get flipped. Remember Judas and the Black Messiah, the story that was about Fred Hampton Jr. or Fred Hampton, who was murdered by the Chicago police in the 60s. And the person who crossed him to join the Black Panther Party was arrested for criminal activities that could have put him away for a long time. So to get those charges dropped and that sentence adjudicated or suspended, they made him an agent to infiltrate the Black Panther Party and set up the murder of Fred Hampton. So is it a coincidence that now we're looking at COINTELPRO 2.0 and one of the biggest haters against our people, who has infiltrated the conscious community for certain, because everyone he attacks are people who he used to hang out with. Think about that. The people he attacks are people who he used to hang out with for years. And then he creates the momentum to build his own channel, which all he does is live up to the codes and the goals of COINTELPRO. I've showed you this before on my channel. I'm going to show you some more evidence of what the goals of counterintelligence is, and then you can decide for yourself if this is how he conducts himself. So there's that. Morris World TV focuses on nothing more than slandering, pay attention, slandering black leaders and black organizations in the movement all day, every day, posing as the righteous great imposer or exposer, which is the only reason you're still free, as it is by definition COINTELPRO. Morris World TV is nothing more than a COINTELPRO operations whose goal is to decrease trust, recruitment, membership, and participation in the movement, and turn us all against each other by attempting to neutralize, discredit, and disrupt black organizations considered subversive to the U.S. establishment. Go look up his court records and background check. Yo, you can't make this stuff up. And it is a fact. The Research Ninja has already brought the receipts of his record. Dozens of assaults on his women, on his ex and his children, and apparently robberies and other assaults and things that you would think in Baltimore you would be booked. But then he attacks all revolutionary black nationalists who are actually doing work in their community, not things that are illegal, but works in the community. He attacks those who have voice and influence that are doing things like even Dr. Inky. At least he's a doctor. He's a businessman. He actually helps people with health. Even the people who he calls scammers, they actually produce and do more than sit on YouTube in a basement somewhere running COINTELPRO ops to discredit. And the cold part is some of the people who he discredits, like Umar Johnson, for instance, right? He did several videos since the beginning of his channel disrespecting Umar Johnson. He called him a fraud, telling people to stay away from him. But then just not too long ago, here's him when he gets a chance to meet Umar Johnson. Let me pause this music, and hopefully you're going to be able to hear this sound.
Watch give me one sign. Give me one sign. Sister Robin, brother. Sister Robin. For Sister Robin. For my wife. My wife, she rock with you.
Now, he had smoke for Umar Johnson on a video about a month before now. Now you see him going to an event of Umar Johnson's, begging for an autograph, and then asking him to come on the show. So he's telling people to stay away from this dude. He's a fraud, but then he goes and patronizes the same dude to try to get him on his program. Now, maybe that was just to extract more information, to expose him so he could put him under the radar, or because he's a hypocrite, or because he's really just a nut rider. Either way, this is how he interacts with the same person who he had smoke for on the internet. But this is how he is in front of his face, begging for autographs, patronizing them, buying his book.
She rock with you. Yeah.
Smiling and beguiling. Elated.
See, we doing big things. See, an honest critique gets respect, not disrespect.
Capping.
See, you probably ain't watched the whole video, so you think I came at
now his nigga explaining.
Like 4 people text me, come on. Won't you come on the show, brother?
Now he's begging again.
You get free.
This dude's a cornball.
She's gonna be happy for that. Tell you gotta ride and die, but you just want to hit for. Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure his wife or his girlfriend or his whatever bed wench, I'm pretty sure that she would probably rather fuck with Umar than this dude. I mean, she went from a world-class lawyer to a handyman. So she's already taking L's. Just fucking with dude.
I ain't got the cool shit. For real, they tell me I have to do it. I don't got the cool shit. Check him down. Make sure ain't no weapons. I don't got the cool shit.
But we know he does have the coon chip. Because this same person, AJ, who, oh yeah, by the way, Morris World TV, Taharka has been actually going against AJ for a minute, and others like AJ, like Malik Zulu-Shabazz, who he's actually interviewed before he turned on him because that's his MO. Now what he wants to do is he wants to try to put the crosshairs on AJ by saying, let's examine the liberating qualities. This is a screenshot that I took from a post that he put on YouTube. Let's examine the liberating qualities of the same groups that say I'm an agent. Recently, Pansoc leader put out a post on Facebook that I'm an agent. Okay, let's examine the post, then examine the leader and his leadership. Brace yourself. This is what I was talking. This is the post that he's talking about right here that me and others were tagged in. So there's that, right? So tomorrow he's going to be going, or by the time you see this, will be after you see this, that he's going to be going in apparently on AJ. Now let me just show you about AJ a little bit. This is actually a video from a few years ago from Roland Martin, and I'm not a Roland Martin fan. However, he did have correspondence with the late and great Hashim Akhenaten Nzinga of the New Black Panther Party. And this is just a video that's going to show you some of the work, because some of the work that AJ does and has done for a long time in the community.
Trump, a few days ago, tweeted this particular video. Okay, and in this video, it shows some individuals who were actually on a boat. And in the tweet, he goes something along the Cajun Navy. So I get a call today from Hashim Nzinga, New Black Panther Party, and he says Trump gave us credit because that actually is a New Black Panther Party boat. Okay. He said, well, they've had these hurricanes, New Black Panthers. They've been traveling to these places, helping to rescue people. And I said, Hashim, are you serious? So I scroll back, and this is about 5 or 6 days ago. This particular video, and he said, yeah, he said it's one of our guys. He said there's a guy named AJ who was a former member of the military, who is on that particular boat. And so in a second, we're going to talk to Hashim because certainly I know that it's probably a shock to Donald Trump, him showing some love.
So I remember when this happened, and Donald Trump accidentally did tweet out something giving props to the New Black Panther Party, not knowing that it was the New Black Panther Party because they were doing a rescue mission after a hurricane. And this is something that AJ and other New Black Panthers have participated in for a long time. Doesn't get coverage. And unfortunately, some of our people with the biggest influence, rather than support this type of thing that saves lives, literally, they rather go against it because that's, of course, what counterintelligence does. Remember, J. Edgar Hoover went against the Panthers, and the biggest domestic threat, he said, was the free lunch program, which a lot of people are like, what is so detrimental to the country about a free lunch program? Well, it's simple, as he stated, because if they don't depend on us, we can't control them.
To the New Black Panther Party. But also we talked about it. You called me today and you said that Donald Trump may not have realized he was praising the New Black Panther Party for their work with Hurricane Florence.
Well, he was probably watching or showing the birth of a nation at the White House, and then it was tweeting at the same time.
And so so in that video that's on his Twitter feed, who's actually in the boat? Who is the brother? Who is the brother who's in the boat? You said he's a former member of the military?
Yeah, we got a lot of members of the New Black Panther Party who come out of the military and get a lot of training, and they want to use that for their people and protect their people. And AJ is one of them. He's been trained, and he's been doing the work of saving people in water for like the last 15 years. But as you well know, Roland, from Katrina and under the leadership of Attorney Malik Zulu-Shabazz, we took 50 Panthers into Katrina. We took over 50 Panthers into Katrina. So we've been doing these rescue missions for 20 years and not getting any recognition, but we don't look for the slave master to give us recognition because we do it to save our people.
And so do you still have an ongoing response to what's happening with the flood waters there in North Carolina?
Yeah, what we're doing now is getting the next wave together, which is water, generators, and we're collecting stuff. And we'll be going back in and out of North Carolina like we usually do, probably for the next month.
And you'll be doing not just rescues, but are you also providing supplies and things along those lines?
Oh, that's the main thing. We find out what the people need, and we come back and tell the community, because if you try to buy a case of water down there, you know, Roland, it can be $24 to $30. So we can get our water here still for $6 and $5. So we load up trucks and we load up trailers, and we take the people, you know, water. Some of the power will be out there for weeks and weeks. So we try to gather generators and rent generators. And we just keep going back and forth from all over the nation.
So do you expect Donald Trump to delete that tweet once he finds out that that Cajun Navy he was praising is actually the new Black Panther Party?
Well, you know, Trump put all FEMA's money over to ICE to chase people out this country. So, like I said at the beginning, he's probably like in 1919, he's sitting there in the White House watching the birth of a nation. So by the time it go off and he realized what's going on, he probably will delete it.
Black power.
All right, Ashim Nazinga, new Black Panther Party. I certainly appreciate.
So let's just keep it simple, man, because it's not really that deep. Like who's more likely to be an agent? Someone who attacks people like that. Remember, Malcolm X wasn't loved by all of our people. MLK was stabbed by one of our own people before he was shot down. He was actually stabbed by a woman who thought that he was causing too much trouble for the good niggers. So this isn't like new. On one hand, you have organizations and individuals who are being productive in their communities. On the other hand, you have someone who can't even do anything in his community because no one in his community fucks with him. He's in Baltimore. There are plenty of upstanding grassroots organizations that he could be building with. But even his own Moorish community in Baltimore don't fuck with him. In fact, they didn't beat him up, which is why he had to go out of the state to get his Grand Sheikh degree from someone who was already expelled from the Moorish community. Which is why he doesn't do anything productive in his community at all. The only thing he does is the bidding of white people. And how do you know this? Because we're going to go to COINTELPRO right now and see. This is from the COINTELPRO director of the FBI. And let's go to the second sentence. The purpose of this new counterintelligence endeavor is to expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, and otherwise neutralize the activities of Black nationalists, hate groups, organizations, and groupings, their leadership, spokesmen, membership, and supporters, and to counter their propensity for violence and civil disorder. Well, we know that violence has not been a factor. So civil disorder to them means us protesting and standing up for ourselves and wanting justice. This is what Taharka Bey is actually doing. All of these things: disrupt, misdirect, discredit, neutralize the activities of those who are actually doing things in their community. He actually is getting ready to go live to try to discredit someone who is a part of rescue missions and have been for years. That is literally dangerous. That is literally going against the grain of someone who's saving lives, and he's going to try to discredit and drag them when the only thing he's known for is crime after crime and not going to jail for it. Out of his own mouth, he said that he got into this game for propaganda. He scammed his own Moorish brethren out of thousands of dollars just so he could parlay it into what? A YouTube channel? But now he wants to take donations to hand out blankets in Baltimore? But he's telling you about everyone else is scamming. See, everything he does is projection. Understand that. Let's continue. The activities, let's get some music. How about that? So the activities of all such groups of intelligence interest to this bureau must be followed on a continuous basis, so that he continue. Nope, that's why he's been doing it so steadily. You see, back in the days, they would have to have someone infiltrate, which has done that. But the propaganda piece would have been more difficult because they only had really print media and a few news channels that it just wasn't accessible for people to get on. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have social media. So now, they have satellites. People who they've activated because they're coons or because they found them in vulnerable positions where they had to accept a mission to go against their own. That's the legacy of the Rat King, Toronto Johnson. Following the letter of COINTELPRO goals, objectives, and tactics. Check out the video I did. It's only about a 6-minute video. It's called Proof Taharka Bey is an Agent. These are his own words. See, we don't have to make up things about dude. Less than a year after he started his channel, his own Moorish brethren called him out as an agent. Several of them. Several people, not just in the Moorish community, but in the conscious community, Black Power community, whatever, have already identified and came up with the same conclusions. That he is an agent, that he himself is a scam artist, that he is trash. This many people can't be saying something about somebody if it's not true. It's right there. The proof is in what he does. Go through his channel, if you will, and look at every video from 2015 or 16 to now. 90% of them are attacking different groups, and most of the people and organizations he attacked are those that he was affiliated with at one point, including the Moors, Sardana, Inky, Unk, Brother Polite. Now, I'm not sticking up for any of them or any shenanigans that they may have done. What I'm saying is, how can you have someone who was around these people for that long praising them? As you can see, he was doing the Dr. Umar, and then turn around and slander them along with other agencies. What about, in fact, going against the KKK and calling them out upset him so much that he had to go on a 3-month tirade going against Grandmaster Jay and in fact? What about the like who sees some that decide on a campaign from in fact start catching cases? See? And this is one of the areas of counterintelligence programming. Baltimore is listed. Remember, these are the goals, the purpose of counterintelligence. So if you see someone that's operating with the same purpose written out by the FBI for their counterintelligence, you should be suspicious. Someone who has been arrested several times and didn't do any time, anyone in the streets knows that's suspect. In Baltimore, don't play games. They love locking niggas up and beating niggas down. There ain't no way he didn't caught all them cases, violent cases, didn't do any time, just coincidentally starts his channel. And his channel is all about going against those who he showed love to at one time and who he infiltrated in order to get some type of following that he parlayed into a smear campaign called Moorish World TV. Rat King. So who would you trust? Who do you think needs to be in the community? Those who are actually putting in work, risking their lives, spending money out of their own pocket in order to help our people, or this dude who's going to tell you that everybody's a fraud and you shouldn't mess with any of them, but then he's going to go and beg for autographs and buy books from some of the same people or have them on his program. And he either slanders you first and then tries to get you on the program, or he'll have you on the program and then slander you after you leave. Those are counterintelligence things. That's really backhanded pussyism, but that's also agent type behavior. The jury is in, and we charge and fine Toronto Johnson, aka Taharka Bay, aka the Rat King, guilty of not only being a traitor to black people, but being an agent for the ops.